I was just passing by. Then she whispered, "Please take me with you." The night on the war-scarred planet was silent, except for the faint hum of distant machinery. I wasn't supposed to stop. My orders were clear. Move through the ruins. Avoid detection. Rendezvous with the extraction team by dawn. But something about that faint whimper echoing from a collapsed building froze me mid-step. I was just passing by. That's what I kept telling myself as I turned toward the sound. My boots crunched over shattered tiles and glass, the beam of my visor cutting through the darkness. Inside the crumbling structure, the air smelled of ash and damp stone. Then I saw her. She was huddled in a corner behind a fallen column, small, fragile, and trembling. Her skin was pale silver, dust-streaked and bruised. Slender chains bound her wrists, and faint lines glowed faintly along her neck, the markings of her alien kind. She looked up at me, wide eyes reflecting the faint blue of my visor's light. When she spoke, it was barely a whisper. "Please take me with you." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. The ruins. I lowered my weapon slowly. "You're one of them," I said. Her kind had been our enemies for years. The Cyril, a race of psychic warriors feared across the galaxy. I'd fought them. I'd seen what they could do. And yet, she didn't look like a warrior. She looked like a prisoner. "They left me here," she murmured, her voice raw. "My own people abandoned me." The chains around her wrists weren't standard human issue. They were Cyril bindings, forged to suppress their abilities. Whoever had left her here wanted her powerless. "I can't," I hesitated. "If I take you with me, my people will. I'll die here if you don't." Her voice cracked, and for the first time I saw past the silver skin and alien features. She was terrified and alone. The decision, every instinct screamed at me to walk away, to follow orders, to survive, but my feet wouldn't move. I knelt beside her and pulled out my combat knife. "Hold still." The chains fell with metallic clink, and she flinched like she'd expected pain. When they hit the ground, faint light flared across her skin, her markings coming alive again, pulsing softly like stars. She looked at me, stunned. "Why?" "I don't know," I admitted. "Maybe because I can't stand watching someone beg to live." Her eyes softened, and for the first time, she smiled. The escape. We moved quickly through the ruins. She could barely walk, so I half-carried her, my arm around her shoulders. Her body was lighter than I expected, almost weightless. "Your name?" I asked quietly as we crossed a collapsed bridge. "Saran," she whispered. "And you?" "Call me Kale." Every sound in the distance, every shifting stone or crackling ember, felt louder than it should. Patrols were everywhere. Both human and Cyril forces considered this territory cursed after the last battle. That worked in our favor. But I could feel her gaze on me as we ran, searching, questioning. "Why aren't you afraid of me?" she asked softly. "I should be," I said, "but I'm not." The pursuit. We weren't alone for long. A beam of red light sliced past us, searing a hole through the wall. Saran gasped as I shoved her down behind a slab of stone. Enemy patrol. Human. My own side. "They'll kill you if they see me," she whispered, panic rising in her voice. "They'll kill both of us if they see you with me." Gunfire rattled the ruins. I returned fire, buying a Sakan to escape through a broken tunnel. My arm burned from a grazing shot, but I kept moving. Saran clung to me, silent except for her ragged breaths. When we finally stopped in the shadow of an abandoned tower, I collapsed against the wall. "You're hurt," she murmured, reaching for my arm. "It's nothing." But her hands glowed faintly as she touched me. Warmth spread through my veins, the pain fading into nothing. I stared at her, stunned. "What did you—" "I healed you," she said softly. It's the only thing I can still do. The truth, hours passed in silence as we waited for dawn. The extraction point wasn't far, but every path was crawling with patrols. You saved me, she whispered suddenly, even though you didn't know me. Didn't have a choice, I said, though even I didn't believe the words. You could have left me. I couldn't. She studied me for a long moment. My people call humans monsters, she said quietly. But you're nothing like they said. I almost laughed. Humans say the same about yours. For a moment, we just looked at each other. Enemies who weren't enemies anymore. The whisper. By the time we reached the outskirts of the landing zone, the sky was burning orange with sunrise. My communicator crackled. Extraction inbound. This is it, I told her. Once they see you. I know. She looked away. They'll never accept me. Then what do you want me to do? Her answer was barely a breath. Please take me with you. The same words she'd said when I first found her, but now they felt heavier. I looked at the horizon where the dropship descended. If I took her aboard, I'd be branded a traitor. If I left her here, she'd die. I made my choice. The leap? Hold on, I said, grabbing her hand. We ran as the dropship descended, gunfire erupting behind us. Human soldiers shouted my name, but I didn't stop. Saran stumbled, but I pulled her up, refusing to let go. We leapt onto the boarding ramp just as it lifted. Bullets sparked against the metal hull, but the doors sealed shut, drowning out the chaos. For the first time since I'd met her, Saran wasn't trembling. She just looked at me, wide-eyed, breathless, alive. You really did it, she whispered. Yeah, I said, a shaky smile breaking across my face. Guess I did. The flight, as the dropship soared into the clouds, silence settled between us. She leaned against me, exhausted but safe. What now? She asked quietly. I didn't know. We were fugitives now, hunted by both sides. But for the first time in years, I didn't feel alone. We figure out, I said, together. Saran closed her eyes, a faint smile on her lips. Thank you, Kale. I tightened my hold on her hand, knowing I'd never forget the moment I found her in those ruins. The moment everything changed. I was just passing by, but she whispered, please take me with you. And I did,